now have a murder suspect.
The offender we're looking for broke into his house, held his wife and him at knife point, and demanded the keys to his car. My canine dog had blood all over him, blood in his mouth. It was just terrible. And they were looking at me like, why did you do that to this guy with your dog? And I looked at him, I said, this guy just killed a woman. Well, I was working day shift that day. It's unusual. Sunday, very quiet, Mother's Day. I'm in Overtown. I love working Overtown. It was a great area. And I was just sitting there watching traffic go by, and I saw a truck go by with a camper on the back. And I said to myself, you know, if my wife was here, Jennifer, who was an awesome cop, she was great in getting stolen cars, I bet she would run that tag. She probably ran 200 tags a day. So I was bored. So I ran the tag. Right away, came back stolen. So I get behind it. I'm advising. I'm behind a stolen truck. I stay back so I don't spook the guy. So we go a few blocks. I'm advising direction travel. He pulls into a gas station. I pull into the gas station, but I stay back a little bit. Other units are coming to assist me. And he pulls up to the gas pumps, and I see an officer pull in. He was playing around in the car and looking in the mirror and doing stuff. And he looks in the mirror and sees me, and he sees the officer pull up in front of him. The officer in front of him didn't box him in or anything. The officer gets out on foot. He looks in the rear mirror, sees me, sees that officer, and he takes off, full steam ahead. He goes up over by the gas pumps, hit one of the gas pumps, takes off out of the gas station. Two rookie officers coming in to assist me and help me collide, hit on. They're out of commission. So those two guys can't help me. And so I'm chasing a guy down the road through the Overtown area, and I could never get more than a block ahead, close to him. The guy was moving, blowing stop signs.
What's interesting, too, is it's two stories at the same time where I'm in downtown Miami, living in an apartment, and I used to like to listen to what was going on before I hit the street.
Right.
Especially if I knew you were out. I'd have one or two channels on, and I hear this happening.
Yeah.
I start hustling to get dressed.
Well,
and I hear what's going on with the car in the gas station. And then when you were making the call outs on the direction of travel, it was like we are southbound from 3 and 20, passing 16th Street.
yes. Yeah.
Passing 10th Street.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Gone.
Passing the police station.
Yeah, gone. This guy was moving. Just from your call outs, I could hear how fast.
Yeah, he was going. And in the, there wasn't a lot of traffic on the road. It was Mother's Day. It was quiet. Hardly any pedestrians out. And we're passing the police station, and the dispatcher's raising me and says, the complaint sergeant, who's up in the 911 call room, I guess was waiting for a supervisor on the street to cancel the chase because it didn't meet our chase policy. Just a stolen car. So the dispatcher said, the complaint lieutenant says, cancel the chase.
After fleeing from you, he goes down to the Grove where all the mansions are.
Yes.
And this guy's a notorious burglar.
Yes.
Home burglar.
Yes.
And he hit every house in a cul-de-sac.
Yes.
And then someone came home
Yes.
and realized, like,
Yes.
what's this car doing here?
Right.
Oh my God, he broke into a house.
Right.
And so he fled from that scene.
Right.
And so now officers are canvassing for him,
Yes.
which now they find him
Park.
in Kennedy Park,
Yep.
backed in.
Yes.
And it was Officer Hall is the one getting on the
really?
radio for my academy class.
Oh, really?
Yep. And he goes, I remember hearing it. I got the vehicle, but I don't think the guy's inside. But he was just ducked down.
He was ducked down. And as I guess Officer Hall approached, the guy took off again in the truck. So I hear, was it Officer Hall that was chasing him or someone else? I don't know.
Everybody was trying to get a piece of it.
But now the guy's going the wrong way on 27th Avenue. He's going northbound in the southbound lane of 27, and very dangerous. A sergeant got on air and said, cancel the chase. It's getting too dangerous. So the officer said, all right, well, I'm going to try and keep an eye on him if I can. I don't hear anything on the radio.
From a distance.
Yes.
It's typical protocol.
Yes.
We can stay back several blocks, turn our lights off. We're no longer chasing, but we want to see, hey, maybe he ditches the car. Maybe.
Exactly. So at this time, there's really no chase. This guy's just fleeing. And I don't hear anything on the radio for 2 or 3 minutes.
You and me both are basically racing.
Oh.
Southbound 95 or whatever. We're trying to get into the area.
Yes. And US 1's blocked up.
I think you and me are on the phone together like, hey, are you listening to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I had to get off the highway, and I went underneath the Metro Rail, which is like a train that takes people around. And I was off the road going under the metro rail where people walk, just trying to get around traffic, trying to get down there.
Too, yeah, because you can't. It's the only way.
Yeah, it's it's like anyway.
So it's quiet on the radio. They've lost the car.
Yes, there's
then you
nothing
hear
on the
what?
radio for a couple of minutes, and then a policeman says, "Be advised, he just crashed, and I need units here." And then I heard a female officer get in there. We need fire department. We need rescue. The truck hit a telephone pole and hit a house. It's resting against the house, and now the house is on fire and the truck's on fire. So I'm thinking, okay, the guy's in the truck's on fire. So I'm
going to recap too that the guy ends up in this Ram 1500 blowing through a stop sign.
yes,
They say probably 80, 85 miles an hour, maybe faster.
yes, and he T-bones
a
a woman and her daughter in a van.
Yeah,
Hit the
right on the driver's door, I think. Well, I don't even know.
Well, I'm not really sure, but anyway, it ended up that the driver didn't have her seatbelt on, and she was a large woman, and she got ejected out, I think, the passenger window, or the driver's window, rather. She sailed in the air, apparently, halfway down the block, and hit a tree.
Yeah,
and she was dead on the scene.
Yep.
And
the daughter's in the car.
She's pinned under the dashboard.
She's 13, 14,
Yes.
15 years old, something like that. She's
Yeah.
trapped in the minivan, which is all but crushed.
Yes.
And then now his vehicle, the Ram, after hitting them, I believe on the driver's door, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That minivan gets pushed 50 or 100 yards down the road.
Yeah.
He veers off after the impact, hits a palm tree, which hits electrical wires.
Okay.
The palm tree crashes into the corner of a house, but it's also where the front door to the house is.
Correct.
And that's electrical fire puts this house on fire all but instantly.
Correct.
And so they have one dead woman wrapped around a tree, the daughter in really bad shape, trapped in the vehicle,
Yep.
people in the home screaming, trying to get out because
Right.
their house is on fire.
Correct.
And it's pandemonium on the radio.
Correct. So I'm still trying to get down there, and so are you, trying to arrive in the area. And I don't hear anything about the offender. So I get on the radio and I said, where's the guy in the truck? Where's the bad guy? And a policeman goes, oh, he jumped out of the truck and he ran eastbound on foot and he has blood all over his face. And I said, okay, are you going to set a perimeter up? We need to catch this guy. And the sergeant gets on the radio and says, oh, no, we have too much going on right now on the scene. We can catch him later on. And I'm thinking, oh, no, we're not catching him later on. Need to catch him now. So,
and at this point, I think it's pretty clear, like we're all aware that there's a 45, there's a dead body. Like this is a significant crash. We now have a murder suspect.
correct.
Yeah.
So I get on the radio and said, we need to set a perimeter up. And like I said, the sergeant said no. So I told the dispatcher, then if we don't have enough manpower, get somebody from Coral Gables, an adjoining agency. So they were doing that. And then a lieutenant got on the radio, Lieutenant Cruz, and said, hey, do what the canine officer said. We need to catch this guy. So we have a perimeter set up.
Well, not really. It's you and me.
Well, yeah. So
You and me, car 69 at some point, and or on a TAC channel, and saying, look, I remember us having a conversation, and nobody's doing this perimeter. What corner do you want? What corner I'll take?
yeah.
And we did like a 2-man perimeter, but we
Yeah.
set a monster.
Yeah.
We were trying to anyways. We
Yeah.
were trying to set a big, maybe 6-block perimeter.
correct.
But there's everyone's dealing with the fire and trying to get these people out of the house.
Yeah. So I start circling the block, trying to contain him. And I got on the radio and said, hey, listen, dispatcher, if anyone calls that they see the guy in the backyard, let us know right away. So I see a guy running over to one of the officers on the perimeter who's standing out on the street. And the officer gets
Pretty
on
close to where the crash is,
yeah,
I think.
about a half a block away. And I see the policeman talking to the guy and get on the radio. So I start heading towards the policeman. And the policeman says, hey, I was just approached by a gentleman that said the offender we're looking for broke into his house, grabbed a knife in the kitchen, held his wife and him at knife point, and demanded the keys to his car.
And jewelry.
Okay.
Add that too. And a towel.
Yeah.
To
So
clean himself off.
this is a one-man crime spree going on. So then I see a car pulling out of a driveway, going at high rate of speed, and the policeman says, that's the car. Tells the canine unit, that's the car. So then again, I'm trying now to catch up. This guy is in a different car. Just stole it at knife point. Home invasion. So now he's heading back south on 27th Avenue. Again, he's ahead of me. He's a good block ahead of me. Block and a half, maybe 2 blocks ahead of me. I see him make a left, going eastbound. Anyway, I finally catch up to him.
I'm on the same block when this happens. I think the guy passes right by us. We have to do a U-turn to get on him.
Right.
And I know you're on it. You're going to be the lead vehicle.
Right.
And the guy just keeps making like a right and a left.
Yeah, these are
right
short blocks.
and a left.
Short
yeah.
blocks.
Residential area.
Right.
It's daytime. It's probably, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
something like that.
So every time I turned around a block, I was on him. Every time I run around a block.
And I'm paralleling you guys.
Okay, but I didn't know this at the time.
I'm paralleling, hoping, by parallel meaning for the folks who don't know, you might be on 22nd Street. I'm on 23rd. And the guy keeps kind of cutting south, and I'd see him cut south and left. He'd be in front of me. I'd see you make the turn. And I'm like, well, let me cut over one more too.
Well, I finally lost sight of him just for a few seconds. He went around a corner. I come right over. He's gone. I said, he couldn't have made the next intersection. So I slowed down, and I look to the right, and I see him. He had pulled into an apartment complex, and I guess he couldn't put the brakes on quick enough, and he actually ran the Toyota Tercel up against the apartment. So he's up against the apartment. I pull in behind him, and I put my bumper up against his, and I kind of squish my car up to his. He can't go anywhere now. I see him looking over a mirror, and when I pulled up, he's got a towel, and he's wiping the blood off his face. Well, he immediately bails out of the driver's side.
With a knife?
I didn't know he had the knife with him at the time. I was quickly getting my dog out of the back, and I told Roy, I gave him the command to stop the guy. Roy lost sight of him because the guy went on the other side of some cars. So I redirected Roy over to the direction the guy was traveling. My canine dog, Roy, the Malinois, jumped up, bit him in the butt area, knocked him down. I got on the radio and said, my dog's on the guy. Hold the air. And next thing I know, I'm getting someone's tapping me on the shoulder while Roy's on the guy. And it's you, out of nowhere. And you said to me, hey, Dad, Roy's got the apprehending the guy, but the guy has 2 or 3 pairs of pants on. And all my dog does is have his pants in his mouth.
I remember saying, that's not good enough.
Yeah. So I got Roy off his pants, let him go again. And Roy apprehended a guy in the back of the head and the neck, dragging him around on the ground. I looked over and I saw a gentleman and his son watching us. So I got Roy, and we got the guy in custody. And Roy, my canine dog, had blood all over him, blood in his mouth. It was just terrible. So I wanted to get the blood and stuff off the dog. So I asked the gentleman, hey, sir, I said, can I use your hose? You have a hose? He goes, yeah, come on over here. And they were looking at me like, why did you do that to this guy with your dog? And I looked at him, I said, this guy just killed a woman. He's
on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if the girl was going to survive at that point.
Yeah. So anyway, they said, officer, great job. They let me use the hose him off. And
I remember, and it's even better too. I thought he was going to die. I thought I had never seen a dog bite someone in that location before. And with the ferocity that he was doing it, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is going to be a death by canine.
Yeah. Yeah.
While this is happening and the guy's screaming bloody murder, a woman comes out from the apartment that we're in front of with her rollers in her hair.
Yeah.
Screaming like just she can't put together what's going on.
Yep.
And we didn't really know where we were at this point.
Correct.
Like I didn't know what street we were on and we needed help. It was just you and me.
Yeah.
People are trying to come to us. They don't know where are you?
Yep.
I said, hey, what's the address? And the lady is she just kept staring at what Roy was doing to the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just remember kind of like breaking her out of it. Like, what's the address? And she told me the address, get on.
Yes.
And then anyways, we ended up, like you said, getting Roy off and the guy's in custody. And
yeah. And I think he pled out and he got 50 years or something.
If you like what you've seen so far and you want to see the full episode, make sure you click the link below. It'll take you right there.